Hello people of the web, it's me Paul, welcome back to my studio Warsaw, Poland. Though I'm starting quite different today because you know what, there's Nebula 4 waiting there for me and they say it's scary difficult to install and use, so maybe I should be afraid too. Well, I don't know, but that's what I'm gonna check out for you today, so let's go. Yeah, so I had to sneak into the shot, guys, to finish the bad joke I started this video with. Like, yeah, I'm afraid of Nebula 4. Should I be afraid? Should you be afraid of this? Well, we'll find out today, because I'm gonna run the whole process. Let's say I'm gonna walk you through the whole process of installing it, buying components for it, configuring it. And yes, it is different from most plugins than just simply buy. You click install and you're there. Yes, it's different with Nebula, but is it really so scary? We're gonna find out soon. And first, we should start with downloading and installing Aquarius app that you can find on Acustica website. Windows version, I'm a Windows user, is here. And yes, there were times when Aquarius itself was causing issues while being installed or installing Acustica plugins. These times are gone. I can guarantee you that it gives me no hassle, no issues right now. It's very fluent. Everything works as it should. This is the starting page. Here you're gonna get the product that's recently released or, for example, is discounted. These are my purchase products, and among them I've got N4 library. There is N4.5. This is the latest version. You should start with installing this N4.5 generic FX. You can choose VST2 or VST3. Also AAX version is there. I also have got from Mariano from Acustica all the libraries provided by Acustica Audio, because there are Nebula libraries by Acustica, but the best of the best that's there are third-party vendors, because Acustica gave the access to their convolution sampling technology to external vendors. They can sample their own rig, their own compressors, equalizers and stuff, and turn them into Nebula programs, because what we're gonna work with are programs. These are the components of a Nebula system. But let's start from the very beginning. So we have the Aquarius installed. We've got a Nebula 4.5 installed. Then we can open our DAW. This is my stereo audio channel, and I already loaded up Nebula 4 plugin. This is how it looks, yes, and this is where it gets scary for some people. What's this? There's some kind of a finder here that shows me some components. Then there are presets, there are setups, and you said something about programs. There's so much of it. Yes, there is some stuff, but when you really switch your thinking to it, maybe it's really not that scary, guys. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna buy a new program. A program is a processing unit. It's like a plugin itself. So a program can be an equalizer or a compressor, or some other stuff that you would simply consider a plugin. This is a Nebula program, and today, let's say I'm gonna go for two of my favorite vendors, which are Alex B and TimP. These are my absolute favorite third-party creators for Nebula. They've got a lot of great stuff, and I'm interested in a new compressor, because I do have SSL bus compressor by Universal Audio and original one, let's say, in the plugin version from SSL. But I really am curious how Nebula would work in this manner. Yes, I bought it, I have it in my downloads, so this is where it is. And also I will open my Nebula 4 repository. I can configure where it is in my Aquarius app, of course. So this is my repository, and I'm gonna copy the whole thing here just to have it archived so that I don't have to download. I know where it is, so I actually copy all my purchases unpacked here. But what I have to really do to make it work is that I have to go inside this folder, and I have programs, properties, skins, and vectors. And Nebula 3 programs are not of my interest because I'm already into Nebula 4. I open this folder, and I open programs folder here. I copy this here. Then I take skins. I copy the skins here. And properties, you're right, I have to copy properties to properties. And vectors to vectors. So yeah, it is like a manual process. You have to copy everything to the corresponding folders, but come on, it's not like a rocket science, right, to do it manually. Guys, it's not like one-click install, but it's not hassle, at least for me. I hope it's not gonna be a hassle for you too. Now I'm gonna reopen actually my Nebula 4 plugin, and in the Finder, there should be, yes, there is bus already. So these are all my programs that I purchased for this. And programs are different sample rates, as you can see. And also, these are preamps for different sample rates. And I have mono compressor here and stereo compressor here. What's kind of tricky, and not everybody likes it, is that some settings are not included in just one program. They are separated into different programs. Like, for example, you have 5 bands of an EQ. These are going to be 5 different programs. You have to make a chain of 5 of them to have the full EQ working, for example. Same for compressors here, like 2:1 ratio is a separate program, 4:1 ratio is a separate program, and 10:1 is also a separate program, guys. This is kind of inconvenient. I don't really know the reason why is that, but this is how Nebula comes. So when I decide to use some certain ratio, I cannot tweak a knob on my program. I have to choose it here because these are separate programs, like separate plugins. So I'm going to load, let's say, 2:1 basic, like this standard. Yes. And here it is, the skin already loaded. It loaded some basic settings. I can tweak attack here, release here. There's also look ahead here. Dry, wet, high pass, makeup, threshold. Yeah, this is just G-Bus. And this look ahead is just a digital thing, I suppose. And guys, I can save it as a preset. So I'm going to add a preset, SSL1. There it is. Then I can change release to auto, change some attack and dry, blah, blah, blah. And again, SSL2. So these are like presets in any plugin actually, but I'm going to have Nebula 4 window to choose them. Like I'm going to switch to this. Yeah. And then I'm going to get back to this. That's it. So I have a program and I can create presets from my program inside the Nebula 4. But I can also make this program a separate plugin. And this is the greatest thing about it. Guys, I'm going to go into setups. I'm going to create a new setup. VST3. Okay. Magic ID has to be 4 characters, save. Now it works. SSL221 is here. And that means that Nebula built a VST3 plugin for me with this program. And guys, it should be already here. But of course, to make it happen, I have to rescan my plugins to detect this plugin. Yes, there it is. SSL 2-to-1 stereo is here. Loading, yes. There it is, my friends. So I don't have to manually choose the program, choose the preset, load Nebula and go through Finder. No, I create a separate plugin. The only drawback is that my ratio are different programs, so they are different plugins, like different output VSTs. But I don't care, I'm fine with it. And now we're gonna test out whether it sounds any good, actually. Here it is. We're gonna turn the oversampling on. We're gonna set the ratio 2-to-1. Here's also 2-to-1. Let's load something. All right, I found an acoustic drums loop. I would say rock style, not my kind of music, but whatever, guys. This is just for the purposes of demonstration. Definitely SSL style. I also did some quick gain matching for you guys, and we're gonna compare the results, whether this is good at all. I like this TimP way more than the SSL itself. I mean, there's this SSL-like knock on my transients. This is why it's so good for drums, because it's kind of knocking there, like giving very nice tight punch. And it's better with TimP than with my SSL certified, like a plugin made by SSL. Like, let's listen again. All the way, my friends. What about this gold version? I'm gonna create one more program. Let's listen. Okay, this is gold, so this is a different modified version, but I like TimP and Nebula way more in the low end. There's this nice knock, nice punch that it's there, and it's totally what I want to hear from an SSL. The transient, the low end, and the transient of my kick is preserved, articulated better with TimP and Nebula, guys. I think I showed you the process of installing, searching through components, purchasing them, installing them, and using them, configuring them, and building them into setups. And let's try to sum the things up. Is Nebula 4 scary to install and use? Well, you tell me after today's show. For me, it's really not. I just read the manual of installing and using it once, and I was good to go, and I never experienced any problems. People sometimes say that they cannot install, they cannot build their setups, or they don't understand something, and I'm in no position to deny it in any way, but this is definitely not my experience, guys, and I hope it's gonna be the same for you, because you know what? Using Nebula libraries and generally Acustica audio convolutions is a completely different game in mixing compared to anything algorithmic, and I'm quite sure about it. I have tested it out many times, and I started using Acustica emulations exclusively when mixing. I quit actually using my universal audio, which I loved, and don't get me wrong, these are great algorithms, but both Acustica and especially Nebula, they play a different game, and I can hear it, guys. So I can only encourage you to give it at least a try. And I hope you don't get scared, but you get amazed like I did. That's it for today, guys. Hope you liked it. Hope to see you very soon, and let's discuss things down below in the comments. Bye.